All right, so yesterday we posted the first of two interviews I did with some friends regarding all the different things happening in our culture, in our world right now, and all the different things that all these protests and riots are focused around. So the first one was from a guy named Daniel. Tonight's interview is from a buddy of mine named Kerwin. He is a PhD student, very intelligent guy. He's got a lot of good advice, and he keeps it Bible centered. He actually looks at a story of Jesus to help us understand really how we should interact with each other. So enjoy this interview, guys.
Kerwin,
All right.
how you doing, man?
Doing fine. How you doing?
Dude, I'm good. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever, bro.
Yeah, you got a beard now.
It looks like you've been working on it yourself too, man.
Yeah, it's been growing a little longer. Yeah, so,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Very cool. The quarantine always causes people to try new beards and different looks.
right. I actually already had this growing before the quarantine, but the quarantine didn't hurt it. So
That's awesome, man. Very
yeah,
cool. Very cool.
yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you taking some time with me today, man. So you're currently at University of Virginia for your PhD. What's your PhD studies in?
Right. So my PhD studies are on early Christian history.
And then you got your master's, you said, from the University of Chicago?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Man, what if we could tell teenagers one thing right now, if we could push them in one direction to be a helpful voice or a helpful way of change or a helpful, how can teenagers right now be helpful during all this kind of tension with race and all that kind of stuff? How can they be helpful in these moments right now?
There's a story in the Gospels where there's in two accounts. She's called the Syrophoenician woman in one account, Canaanite woman in another account.
Yep.
And I'd rather rely on the Syrophoenician woman because that gives more context. Jesus basically is in Judah and he's tired because he's fully God, fully man, but being fully man means he still needs to eat and rest and stuff. So he's tired. And so he's like, with the disciples, he's like, we need to get out of here because every time we go to someplace and people know, they follow us.
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus needed rest. He goes into Tyre of Sidon, that region. And he stays at a house and he's there with his disciples and they're chilling out. And there's a woman outside, and the text says she was a Hellen, which means that she spoke Greek, and she was a Syrophoenician woman. And she's calling out to Jesus to have mercy on her and save her daughter. And Jesus doesn't answer. And the disciples are hearing this woman over and over again yelling out the house. So finally the disciples are frustrated. And they're like, Jesus, tell this woman to go away, basically. If you're not going to help her, tell her to leave. And Jesus does one of the most controversial things in the Bible that we aren't comfortable with, but stay with me. He calls out to the woman, or he meets her, and he says, it's not polite to take the children's bread and give it to the little pups. Most translations say dogs. The Greek there actually means little pups. So, but yeah. What she is doing there, well, if you know anything about history, when they had already rebuilt the temple, the second temple sort of structure, there was an evil king named Antiochus Epiphanes who wanted to force the Jews to not worship God, and they wouldn't stop. So he ruled over the entire region, but most of his army was composed of Syrophoenicians. But the people who did that, who came against the Jews and were trying to destroy their religion, they were Syrophoenicians. And so the Jews used to call them dogs, like they used to call a lot of Gentiles. So Jesus is using a racist term to say this woman, it's not good for me to leave my Jewish brother, my Israelite brothers, and help you out, basically when I'm tired. And the woman has such faith, such trust in Jesus' character. She only heard about him, it seems. She has such trust in Jesus' character. She says, yes, but even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table. So here's a woman who comes from a people who hate the Jews, and she's like, you know what? I'm gonna humble myself and realize that you can only save my daughter. And so whatever ethnic beef might be between us, doesn't matter. You're the Messiah. You can save my daughter. And Jesus, after she passes that test, he says, you have great faith.
Wow.
Go, your daughter is made well. And I think, and people can look and say, Jesus, that seemed like Jesus was being racist. You're missing the point, because it wasn't Jesus who said, send her away. It was the disciples who said, send her away. Jesus remember, Jesus is God. He knows all things. So he did all this on purpose. He didn't just randomly go to this town and in this woman's area and didn't expect to run into anyone like her. You know, he's teaching his disciples, you know, I still care about these people too.
Yeah.
Even the ones who hate you.
Wow.
I care about them. And that's why the story is told the way it is, because Jesus takes their racist language that his own people use and shows with his disciples, this can't stand.
Wow.
This can't be there.
Wow.
You know, and that's what he purposefully did. He did that even when he's tired. He did it on purpose to show them that he cares about all people. And look at us. You and I don't look alike. and look, we're all in the family of God, because he chose to save people from every nation. And so I'll leave you with that as a Christian. But look what Jesus didn't do. He didn't make her beg. He didn't say, come and apologize to all my disciples.
Yeah.
No, he says, trust me.
Yeah.
I'm the Emmanuel. Trust me. He says to everybody. And that woman did. And she was rewarded the same way he rewards all of us.
That's awesome.
And his disciples eventually followed him as well. That's what we Christians are supposed to do. We're supposed to preach that gospel. But you won't know if you don't study. So the Christians, I say, first and foremost, know your Bible and know how to use it. Know what Jesus is actually saying.
Yep.
Don't fall. And there are people outside who will tell you all sorts of stories that will twist things. You have to be sound. And then use that standard and apply it to other movements and see if they match up the standard. If they don't match up the standard, don't join them. God changed the world several times with the church. He doesn't need anybody else.
Wow. That's
So
good.
start your own movement if you find that there are no movements doing what God sees to do. Be open for correction. Be open for that always returns to the Bible, but stay true to that one standard, because that one standard is the only way you're going to help affect change in people's lives.
Dang, dude. That's really good, Kerwin. Man, that's really good. Dude, I appreciate you sharing that. And that is a really, really good perspective, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.